Hey guys, Carl from Purple Misplace. Excuse any funny voice today, I am getting over the flu, but today I'm taking a second look at Star Trek Captain's Chair, the sort of reimagined, reinterpreted version of the Imperium deck building series from designers Dávid Turczi and Nigel Buckle, and this time from publisher Wiz Kids Games. I said this is the second look because I did do a playthrough of the botless solo mode previously on the channel. But this time I'm going to be taking a look at the sort of AI bot solo opponent mode, and I'm going to give you my final thoughts on the game as well. Disclaimer, I was given a review copy of this game for this video, but as always I will do my best to give you my own honest opinion on the game. With that said, let's head down to the table to see how that sort of bot solo opponent works, and then I'll meet you back up here to let you know what I think. Alright, so here I am all set up for a solo mode game against the AI opponent. I'm not going to be explaining how the game works or the sort of minute details of the rules because I already did film a video of the solo mode without the AI bot. And for the most part, the gameplay is the same. So if you'd like to see how the game plays or learn the rules in detail, please head over to that video. I'll put a link right up at the top of the screen right now. But I will show you some of the changes that I'm doing. Just a second, I'm going to go over to a different camera to show you the setup for the AI, but while I'm on this screen, a couple of things that are different from the last time I played this game, and that is first that I'm using the advanced side of the player board so you can see how that works. And the difference here is instead of just having a single goal that you're trying to achieve, on the other side of the player board are three separate goals that have three different things that need to be done, and these will, differently from the basic mode here, these will score you points at the end of the game if you do achieve them. Now you might remember from my other video that you only score points on the sort of banners on your cards from these tracks if you had successfully managed to complete that goal. But in this case, because there are three goals, I do not need to get all three of these done in order to score these points. I only need to score at least one of these in order to get those points. But it does give me a little bit more focus. Also, you'll see that this time I am playing with Sela. She switches things up just a little bit. Again, I apologize if I pronounce anything incorrectly. I've started watching some of the Star Trek stuff recently, but I'm only a couple episodes into the original series, so there's lots of names and things that I might pronounce wrong. I know I got laughed at a little bit in my last video, but so be it. So I picked her because she starts off slightly differently, and I'll show some of that off in just a second. But let's take a look at the three goals while I'm here. First goal says I have to have both this one and this one, the two tracks here at 6+ each, and if so, I will enlist the development and find an attack card. Then the reunification plot says I have to have at least 4 Vulcans in play, and if I do, I'll get 3 of these, and I will gain a card for each Shady I have in play. And then I can free play an incident and may junk a card from the market. And finally, the Doris plot, I have to have at least 1 Klingon on the same ship that has Cloak, which you'll see in just a minute. Most of her, if not all of her starting ships do have Cloak, so that's not that tricky to do. I'm going to gain 1 of the sort of military track for each Cloak in play, and then gain 2 points from the supply, not the stardate card. Remembering, in this AI mode, you'll see in a minute, every time we score points, it does come from that card for each Klingon that is in play. Then I'm going to dismiss 1 Cloak and all beamed Klingon. All right, so that is going back down here, putting those back in, like that. And now double checking the rules so I don't keep saying this one and that one. That is research, and that is influence, and that is military. So she's looking to get influence and military at 6 or higher for the Romulan might goal. Another thing you'll see just looking at Sela's setup, she starts off with 1 deployed ship. Again, I'm not putting them on standees so that they are easier to see on camera. She does start with a few cards you'll see here marked discard at the bottom that start in her discard pile. So they won't come into my hand until after I've gone through my hand completely one time. And then this other card you see down here is because for this playthrough I am also using the sort of campaign mode, the 5-year mission campaign mode, and I've already played 1 game of that campaign. And at the end of every game in the campaign, you get to potentially keep 1 card, and I'll show you more about this at the end of this game to show you how it works, but you get to potentially keep 1 card that goes into a reinforced deck. And right here, that is the one card in the reinforced deck from my previous play. But that does not start in my deck. Instead, I'm going to start with this card here, Reinforce, which will allow me as an action, a free action, no action required or no action usage required. As a free action, I can take a card from that reinforcement pile into my hand, or I can, if that pile is empty after I take that one card that I have, basically this will just let me draw a card and get rid of this card by logging it behind my captain. So I'm going to shuffle that into my starting deck, and we'll draw up our starting hand of 5 cards. Like that. The last thing I do want to point out here is I am playing against the lieutenant level bot, which is the second level bot. I am playing on the sort of easiest version of the campaign called Set Phasers to Stun. And you'll see here on this page, it shows that I start at my rank ensign. That means I'm playing against an ensign bot. And I did win the first game, which means I move up 1 level, which means at my level of lieutenant, I'm also facing off against a lieutenant bot. So for this game, I will be playing against a lieutenant level AI. And the only difference between the different levels of AI are these different cards here, because these cards are sort of going to determine how many cards the AI is going to play each turn. So you'll see here there's a number 2. That means so long as this top card is showing on the AI's turn, they will be playing 2 cards from their basically hand. And that's basically all that's changed for me. So let's head over to the AI's area and I will show you setup for the AI. All right, then to set up the AI first, we do need to choose a character or a captain that the AI will be controlling. Now, because I am playing the 5-year mission campaign, once I've beaten a captain, I can no longer play against them. I did beat Shran in the previous game. For this game, I'm going to be using Koloth. I didn't want to use Michael Burnham because she's a little bit advanced. I didn't want to use Cisco again because that's what I used in my last video, and Picard seems to be showing up in a lot of these videos, so I am going to be playing against Koloth. The AI doesn't care about goals, so I'm just going to put them on the basic side because it doesn't really matter. And then having chosen that captain, I am going to take these sort of AI cards that go with that captain. There are 2 cards. There's this traits card and this suits with no duty officer and suits with duty officer on the other side for each of the different captains. This is going to sort of determine what the AI does on their turn based on the cards that they've played. So I'm just going to set those down right there like that. Also with the player board, I do need to put in their 3 cubes, just like we did on our board. So red goes there, blue goes there, and yellow goes there, just like me. And finally, to set up the AI's deck of cards, very similar to setup for our own cards, but we're going to start with their captain. And their captain will get placed down. And I'll leave a little space down here for their deck and a little space up here for their planets. Although realistically, for the AI player, they only need 1 row of cards that have been played out and then space for their played cards. But I've got the space on camera, so I'll spread things out as needed to make it easier to see everything. Then, the AI is going to separate each of their cards into different types, just like we would do, except they're going to play them out or put them out on the table slightly differently. So first, this deployed card I'm going to set off to the side. It does not start off deployed for the AI, but it will end up on top of their deck. So I'm going to put that off to the side for a minute, taking all of their available cards to start, giving those a shuffle. And then on top of that is going to be any of the sort of deployed ships that may be out there, or if the captain has a planet that they start already controlling, that would also go there. Any cards that normally would start already in play for the player, instead will get shuffled up. In this case, there's only 1, and placed on top of the AI's deck like that. Then, just like us, they've got reserve and development, but they're going to set them up a little bit differently. So for the development cards, they're going to give those a shuffle, placing those face down, because there's no way for the AI to select from those in a smart way like a player would do. And then they're going to take the reserve cards, shuffling those as well, just like we do. And all of those will go on top of that deck. So basically, anytime the AI needs to add to their hand, they're simply going to take the top card of that deck. So I'll just set that off up here, out of the way for now. The only other thing we need is off screen. The AI starting ships are here as well, or sort of the captain specific ships are off the side of the screen. And the captain they're playing should have 6 away teams. So I will place 6 away teams right there. And with that, we're all set up for playthrough against the AI. So Star Trek Captain's Chair solo against the AI will play out pretty much the same way as the botless solo mode does, except rather than playing a set 11 rounds, we're going to be playing back and forth, taking turns, us going first, followed by the AI, until we have gone through all of these cards. And the way these cards progress is every time all of these sort of glory points have been taken off of them, that card will get removed, doing whatever it says on the next player's cleanup step if it says something. And then the next card will be revealed and more of those points will be placed onto it. And again, when the final card has all of the points removed, that will finish that round and then trigger one final round. And then the game will be over and scoring will happen. So since we are starting with my turn, I'm going to sort of walk through what I've got available to me, thinking about what it is that I want to do on my turn, sliding things up just a little so we can get them better on screen. Thinking about what I want to do on my turn, take my turn, and then on the AI's first turn, I will explain better how the AI works. It's also worth mentioning off screen, you don't see it, but I've got this tray of glory and latinum and dilithium over there on the side. All right, so let me show you the cards that I have available to me for this first round, and then after that, I'm sort of just gonna talk you through the cards that come out so that I don't have to keep showing things super close to the screen. I understand that this is a little bit far away and it may be hard to read things, but I hope that if I explain things and I read things out while I'm playing, it will be fairly easy to follow along. So first things first, let's look at Sela, the captain. She is a Romulan human and she's shady. She's got 4 away missions. She's got a reaction that says after attacking an opponent, gain 1 dilithium or latinum. So she's got the ability to sort of do more stuff when she's attacking. So she's going to be pretty aggressive. She also has an action that she can activate that says discard either her Infiltrate or Conquer card, spending 3 latinum to scan for Klingon, Vulcan, or Starfleet. Remembering scan is the way that I can dig in some of these market decks to find specific cards that I want. Also, it's worth pointing out here, the end of the game, she's going to score 1 point for each attack card that does not say Romulan or Reman on it. So I want to get lots of attacks in her deck. Her ship that she starts with is fairly straightforward. I did mention before that her ships are already cloaked, so I do need that for one of my goals. This one, when I deploy it, it's already deployed, so I don't get this, but I could send an away team to a location, ignoring any ships that are there. And it's got 3 activations, spend a dilithium to warp this, discard a card to beam a card here, or for free, I can promote a person from my hand to duty officer. So this is going to help me get a duty officer fairly soon. Then looking at these 5 starting cards up close just because they're here and I can. Again, I'm not going to do this for every card, but I might as well now. We start with Remus in my hand. It's an attack Reman planet. When I play this, I take control and I force my opponent to discard a card. Then every resupply turn, I'm going to get 1 dilithium, and if I discard a Reman card, which I don't have any right now, but this card right here in my discard is, I'd get an additional 2 dilithium. So this is going to be a really good dilithium engine for me moving forward. Sub-Commander to Rule is an engineer Romulan. When I play her, I can draw a card, and then I may discard a card to draw a cloak from my discard pile. So she's going to help me get ships back if I play her as a normal card. But if she's my way officer, my duty officer, that says after putting a cloak into play, I'm going to get latinum. So she's all about getting cloaked ships out there. Here's that Infiltrate card that did show up as one of the 2 cards I can discard to activate Sela's ability. But this one is cool. It allows me for free to warp 3 of my ships with cloak to anywhere I'd like to, or I can play it as an activation to discard 2 cards and spend a dilithium to gain a person, cargo, or ally. This is that reinforced card I showed you before that's going to let me pull out that reinforced card from before. So you'll probably see that soon. And here, General Movar Romulan Ops. Play as an activation, discard an attack, and spend a dilithium to scan for shady. Resupply, he's going to draw a card for every 2 shadies I have in play. And activation says I can take an incident to gain a dilithium. If I do, I can free play an attack card. So he's pretty cool at helping me get attacks out and potentially getting me card draws if I can boost lots of shady in my deck. So those are the 5 cards I'm starting with. Looking at the planets up here just so we can see what they are. Here we've got a blue and yellow anomaly. The control says I gain a free action or a free activated action. Amorosa Observatory is blue, scientist starbase. When I control it, I can gain a person. If it's a scientist or an engineer, I get a glory. And remembering, glory always comes from this card now unless it says otherwise. Reaction says after putting an encounter into play, gain 1 glory, and I can log a card from my hand or discard pile. Also, when I log this card, all of my deployed ships warp to another location, then draw 2 cards. Finally, the Ancient Relay Station here. When I control it, I can put a card on the top of my deck and spend an activation to enlist a development. All right. None of those is great. I do want to boost red and yellow. The anomaly is not bad, and getting a free action on a turn, and it's worth 5 points, is probably not a bad idea. So that's probably the first planet I'm looking at. Just quickly looking at the market, we've got a Communication Ambassador Telepath Riva. He is yellow. Play a card. You may log an attack from your hand or discard to gain a glory. That's a free play. That's great, but I don't want to get rid of attack. Although, she scores for having attack, so it's not a bad idea to log them and get glory. Also, as a reaction, if he is my duty officer, when you be attacked, discard a card to ignore the negative effect, gain a glory for each trait the discarded card shares with him. Huh, that's not actually all that weird or bad for me. All right, here's a Tachyon Detection Grid, Communication Attack. Free attack play, you may dismiss a deployed ship to gain 2 of my research track, then force my opponent to log a cloak from play. If they do, I gain a glory. If I have a security in play, gain 1 military level. Here, the Pack-led freighter is a business. Pack-led ship, play for an activation, deploy the ship. You may gain a cargo from the junk. If the gain card is weapon or anomaly, gain 1 military. And then while it's out there, yeah, I can spend a dilithium to warp it or discard to beam something there. And finally, the Organians, Transcendent Anomaly. These both require blue levels or research levels. With a 4 research, I can enlist a reserve. With a 6 research, I can enlist a development and log that card. That's kind of useless for me. All right, then. First things first, I am going to free play that reinforced to take this card, and I will show you. The card I took from last game is this Lurpa, a Vulcan weapon, attack. I like this because it's not Romulan or Reman, and it is an attack, so that's 1 point from Sela plus 2 points, so that's already 3 points. Free attack play, force my opponent to dismiss their duty officer. If they do, I can draw a card. No, they may draw a card. Then I may put a card on top of my deck to gain a glory, and then I draw a card for each Vulcan, which is this. No, excluding this card. So I need at least 1 Vulcan to get that card back again. But if I had multiple Vulcans, that would be even better to have. All right, so that goes into my hand because it does say take a card. But it is useless right now because my opponent doesn't have a duty officer and I don't have any Vulcans in play, so that does nothing, except I could get a glory for putting a card back. In any case, I am going to play one of these to put this planet in play. Oops, planets go here. Then it says force your opponent to discard a card. When my opponent discards a card coming over to their area, that just means they're going to discard the top card of their deck like that. All right, so now I have that location. So next turn I will get some dilithium from that. Let's see what else. Sorry, I forgot I should start with 1 dilithium, 1 latinum, and 1 glory from the supply. Then
do I want to have a duty officer? She's going to pay me for putting cloaks into play. He's going to give me cards for shadies, but I don't have any, so I need to start playing him to get shadies before I use him for anything else. I kind of want this card. All right, I'm going to play Infiltrate as an action, an activated action. Discard 2 cards and spend 1 dilithium. Discard 2 cards like that and spend 1 dilithium to gain a person, cargo, or ally. I am going to take that person. Now, gain means I can either put it on top of my deck or in discard. Remembering I want to go through my deck faster to get some of my more powerful cards out. But, yeah, I don't need him right now because I don't want to log any attack cards yet. But I am going to put him, hold on though. Is he security? No. I kind of wanted that one too because that's yellow banner and it's an attack that I can log. But yeah, we'll focus on that later. That gets replaced with Peanut Hamper. The synthetic, spend 2 dilithium to scan 1 cargo, play 3, gain 3 dilithium, recall your duty officer, promote this one to duty officer. He gets a point or 1 glory every resupply. But if I'm attacked, it goes on top of my deck. Also, after putting a shady into play, put this card on top of your deck and gain a latinum. That could actually be useful for me. Anyway, I'm going to play her for free to draw a card, which is a ship. That's great. She says I can discard a card to draw a cloak from your discard pile. So I could potentially draw this ship instead of this ship, but it doesn't really change either way. So I am going to put that one into play. The Khazara, like that. Then it says, deploy this ship. You may send an away team to a location. I'm going to put an away team there. I don't have any dilithium, so I can't send any of those out, unfortunately. I don't have any more. That was the last activation, I believe. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. So that's that. That's the end of my turn. So at the end of each of my turns, first I need to place one of these glory onto a card that I am interested in. I think I'm interested in that, even though I don't really care about the research track, because that could be an attack that I log with that guy I just got. Then I draw back up to 5 cards. 1, 2. Then when this happens, these get shuffled. And I add 1 card to the top from my reserve. 3, 4, 5. Yuck, that's an incident. But we also got the Rieman's Ally Telepath Security Riemann. For free, put a card on top of my deck to send an away team to a location. Then I can log it, or my opponent can draw a card. In General Movar, you saw already. So that's my turn. So then, headed back to the AI. On the AI's turn, they're going to draw a number of cards equal to the number on the current Stardate card, which I showed you before was 2. So they're going to draw 1, 2. Of course, this is after checking to see if they controlled any locations, but as this is their first turn, they're not controlling anything. And they're going to simply turn these cards over one by one and go through first the traits card and then the suits card, finding something that matches here. So this is Klingon Attack Human Spy. Starting from the top, it's not a weapon, it is an attack. So if we look at this card, it says on an attack, they're going to junk the most valuable card in the market, ignoring any with tokens. If able, return a ship from discard to the top of the bot deck. And then otherwise, if able, dismiss a ship. And then otherwise, gain 1 glory. Anytime you see something in red, that means me. Anything in black should be the AI. So first, they're going to junk the most valuable card in the market. So let's go into the market. And the way they determine value of a card is by looking at the points in the corner, adding any glory that's on that card. However, in this case, it said without tokens, so they're not even focused on that. And any banners, they're going to use the current value of their banners from their player board. So this right now is 3. This is 2. This would be 1 for their banner, plus 1 would be 2, but again, they're ignoring that, and this is 1. So the most valuable card is this ally. That gets junked. We put out the Bullions, which says play for an activation, gain 1, influence, draw a card. You may free play the drawn card. I like that a lot. All right, then it said, if able, return a ship from discard. They are able. There is a ship in discard, so that goes to the top of the bot's deck. And that is that. Next card is a directive card. So they're going to skip all the way ahead to here. And I'm not going to zoom in every time, but I will show you this time again. Directive says discard the top 3 cards of the bot deck, gain 1 military, take an incident, send a away team to a neutral location. So let's go ahead and do all of those things. First things first, discard the top 3 cards of this. 1, 2, 3. Then it says gain 1 military. So that goes up to 1. Then take an incident. So they're going to take an incident from the deck just like I normally do. And it does say take an incident. So that goes to their hand, which means in this case for the AI, on top of their deck. Then they're going to send an away team to a neutral location. So when they send an away team to a neutral location, they will always prioritize a location that has the most of their tokens or pieces on that location. And if there's a tie, they will aim for the highest valued one. But of course, excluding anywhere that I have more ships than they do because they're not allowed to place there. Well, in this case, I don't have ships. I just have an away team. That is 5. That is the highest value. So they are now competing for that with me. That's the end of their turn, so their 2 cards simply get discarded unless the thing said to do otherwise. Back to my turn. All right, I've got a new incident that says I'm going to spend 2 dilithium to return this. If I have an engineer, gain an action. I don't have an engineer. I do here. Whoops, these should be discarded, sorry. Don't have an engineer. And I don't have the dilithium, except I'm getting ahead of myself. First things first, I should check resupply. I gain 1 dilithium. I could discard a Riemann to gain an additional 2. And right now, all he's doing is sending an away team out. I am going to discard him to get 2 more dilithium because I could potentially use both of those to send these 2 ships out anyway. So that's done. Then I check to see if I've taken control of any location. I have not, because remember I need to have at least 3 pieces and at least 2 more than my opponent. That's not true. Pause. Before my turn, the AI should have placed out 1 glory on the card that is least valuable to me. So we're still counting value the same way, except when looking at value for me, the banners are scored based on my banners. So right now that's a 3, that's a 2. My yellow scores 0, so that's a 1, 0 plus 1, and this is a 1. And in the case that there is a tie, they will place on the leftmost card, which is right there. All right, so let me continue my turn. I did my resupply. I don't control that location, so now I take my turn. Let's see, I also have take control of this location for an action. I may free play a ship when I control it. So I'd love to have a ship in my hand before I played that, but I don't know if that's going to happen. This one says attack play, discard a Romulan. If you do, up to twice remove an opponent from a neutral location where I have a ship. I don't, but I can. Gain 1 glory for each thing removed. You may junk a card from the market, or I can simply gain 1 military and junk a card from the market. Well, I'm not loving this turn. I wish I had more cards. I don't. But what I'm going to do is first I'm going to activate this card to send that ship out there. Like that. Then I am going to play this attack. Discarding this Romulan. Then up to twice remove an opponent. So I'm going to remove that opponent, which means I do get 1 glory for doing that. Plus, that was an attack, so from her I get either 1 dilithium or 1 latinum. Right now I don't need latinum for much, so I am going to keep a dilithium. Yep, my second activation, I might as well. It's sad because there's no engineers in play, but I'm going to spend 2 dilithium to get rid of this card, putting it under the other cards. And again, here this is sad. Because, yeah, I'm going to hold that in my hand for next round. I don't want to do that. But I am going to spend a dilithium to send this ship out there, so I do control it unless he fights me for it next time. And the only way he's going to do that is with ships, because he can't place an away team where I have ships like that. And it's a shame because I can't pick up any of these things, but I will place a glory on the bullions because I like them too. And I do waste this last action, which is a shame. But that's my turn. These straighten out. I draw back up to, 5 cards. I am keeping that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This gets discarded. Back to the AI. Still playing 2 cards. 1, 2, like that. Their first card is an incident. Says gain a military. No, sorry, not gain a military. Let me show you that up close. They're going to, from the market, try to gain a card that has a military tag. If it can't, they will choose either a person or ship. And when it's an either like this, they're looking for the one that's worth the most value. Then they're going to send a away team to a neutral location. Then it says you may draw a card. I think this is meant to be read like the others because it is highlighted. So I'm assuming that means me. Then return this card. I'll check that to make sure I'm not cheating. Like that. Okay, so first things first, going to the market, there are no cards with military, so they're trying to take either a person or a ship. This person is worth 2. This ship is also worth 2. And when there's a tie, they will take the leftmost, so unfortunately they're going to take away my peanut hamper. And that did say gain, so that's going to go into their discard, and they'll take that glory. Then it does say send a away team to a neutral location, going back over there. They're going to prioritize the one with the most of their pieces, which there aren't any. Highest thing that they don't have, that I don't have more ships than them. So they're going to go here because that's a 3. And now the last part is not a mistake. My mistake, when it's red bold, it means it's an attack. When it's black bold, it's still something I do, but is not an attack. So it says I may draw a card. So I'm absolutely going to do that because that'll get me a card from my reserve. So shuffling up my other cards, taking that card from my reserve on top and drawing that card like that. And then it says they're going to return it. So that incident goes back to the bottom of the incident deck. They turn over their next card, which is another directive. Again, discard the top 3 cards of the bot deck. 1, 2, 3. Gain 1 military. Send away team to neutral location where they already had the other one from before. That gets discarded. That's their turn. Okay, back to me resupply. I get a crystal, dilithium. I do not have a Riemann to discard, so I can't get an additional 2 even if I wanted to. This, however, is finished. So those guys all come back. I get this planet, which says I get an extra action this turn. Like that. Then this flips over. Ooh, a military planet, Delta Vega. No effect for control. Worth 2 points. Says during resupply, reveal your hand for each person, gain a dilithium. That's not bad because I like military. So that's probably my next focus. Then my turn. And I now have 4 actions. This attack is still not great for me because the opponent doesn't have a duty officer and I don't have any Vulcans in play. All right, so I don't care about that. Let's look over here what else we can do. I am absolutely going to play that one. Romulus goes out and says, take control of this location. And when I control, I may free play a ship. So, these 2 should have gone away when the planet was cleared. That's going to go out for free, but it says deploy this ship. You may send an away team to a location ignoring a ship. Well, I don't have to ignore a ship, but I do like that. I can always spend dilithium to warp that, but we'll hold off on that for a minute. I don't have any Klingons. Ooh, I do have a Vulcan that could potentially tie in with that card later. T'Pel, Ambassador Romulan Vulcan Spy. If I play her as a card with a level 4 influence, I can spend a latinum to trigger the control operation of one of my controlled locations, and then draw a card. Or by putting her as an away officer, which I can't right now because I don't have that ship. If I did, it increases my hand size by 1, which is going to be really nice to have later. But right now she's useless. Hold on. I'm not doing that. Because this one says I may send to a location. If I send here, I can activate this, it says for free. If I have an away team here, I can draw a card. So I'm going to do that to draw a card. Yes, that's perfect. Because I can play her for free to bring back the card that lets me activate a duty officer plus draw a card. Although I had to discard a card to do that. So I am going to discard Riva, unfortunately, this time. But that's okay. Then I am going to deploy the Goraxis back into service, sending an away team to a location. Now I will do that. And I'm going to use their ability to put her as my duty officer, so I have an increased hand size of by one. Reinforcement is empty, so if I play this, I draw a card and log this card. Bye-bye. And then discard an attack. I don't have any attack cards in my hand. Now, this one says I can gain a dilithium and 2 dilithium for each controlled location, which is 2, 4, 6. I get 7 dilithium. Or I can play this to gain 1 specialty track for each matching skill icon. So right now I've got 2 red, 2 yellow, and 1 blue. And I know I have a card that triggers off yellow. Sorry, this should have been replaced with Las. Yeah, I'm going to use that as an action to gain 2 yellow. Like that. Remembering I need yellow and red for that goal. 4 Vulcans in play. I've got 1 now. I need to put a Klingon on a cloaked ship, would be nice to do. Then play him, discard an attack, and spend a thing. I can't do that. That's not going to help me. So here, discard Infiltrator, Conquer, and spend 3 Latinum to do something. I can't do that either. So this extra action I got this turn is useless. But I am going to spend a crystal to warp this ship out here, like that. That's my turn. Everything refreshes. I am going to discard him because I don't care about him right this moment. And I just realized I shouldn't have done that. I forgot again. The AI should have put a glory on the cheapest or the lowest card, which is 4, 2, 1, 1, would have gone here, which means this would have cleared. And it says during the next player's cleanup step, which is now my cleanup step right now, wipe the market, removing all tokens. So that goes away. All of these go away. Like that. New cards. Laris comes out. Romulan. Unstable Wormhole. Kazon Raider. And Lethians. Red and yellow. This is an attack red that's not Romulan and Reman. I'm liking that. Then 7 more glory goes out on this card. You'll see the AI is still drawing 2. I get to place 1 out, and I will place it out on those guys. Now I have a hand of 6. 1, 2, 3. Shuffling here. Taking 1 card from there. 4, 5, and 6 like that. That extra 1 goes away. These flip back over, and it is the AI player's turn. All right, so again, they're playing 2. They do not command any planets or control any planets. First card is a Klingon ship. Weapon, no. Attack, no. Romulan, no. Scientist, no. Incident, no. Ship. Deploy this ship. They've got the Klothos. It explores. Now, when the AI explores, so there's two different kind of deploy actions for ships, explore and engage. Explore means they're sort of avoiding me, and engage means they're sort of attacking me. So when they explore, they're going to warp the ship token to the neutral location with the fewest total tokens. And if there's a tie, as always, they go most valuable. So the fewest total tokens is the ancient relay station right there. Then, next card is again a directive that says, discard the top 3 cards of the bot deck. There is no bot deck, so they are going to shuffle. And take the top reserve card. And then they're discarding the top 3 cards. 1, 2, 3, like that. They keep discarding their people. They're never getting a duty officer. Then gain 1 military again. Send an away team to a neutral location. Again, prioritizing the location with the most of their tokens, which is going to mean that the next turn, if I don't do something about that, they're going to take that one. Then that gets discarded, and that is the end of their turn. Back to me. Before I forget again, they place out here. This is 0 plus 1 is 1. This is 0 plus nothing is 0. 2 and 1, so 0 is the lowest. It goes there. That's actually nice for me too. It's an attack. It's shady. It's not Romulan Riemann. I like both of those cards quite a bit. Resupply. I get a crystal. I can discard Riemanns to get more crystals. I think I'm going to do that because right now I need stuff, resources more than I need 1 away team out. I think. Then what else do I have for resupply? Nothing. Okay. I am going to activate this to take 1 more card. I don't really need her this turn, but let's see what else we have. Increasing tracks again. I think I might hold that for next turn, because if I can take this next turn, then I'll get 3 red. Discard an attack and spend a crystal for a shady, which means I could take that ship, or that. Wow, those are both great to do. Yeah, this isn't going to help me right now anyway, so let's do that. I'm going to play him. Discard an attack. And spend 1 dilithium to scan for shady. So I'm going to take that shady right there, which means I get that glory. Dismiss your opponent's duty officer. You may scan for shady. You may draw a cargo from your discard pile. Log this card. Yeah, I don't need that right away. Then, next thing comes out there. The Kelpians. Return up to 2 incidents from your hand or discard pile. I'm going to play Tomalak next, which says, it's an attack card. Yay. Spend 2 dilithium to gain a ship. Here's the ship that I'm gaining. And I'm going to put that on top of my deck this time because I'm going to be able to put that out right now and potentially then send it out. You'll see what happens in a minute. This is going to be a nice turn. USS Reliant comes out. It says, dismiss all of your opponent's Starfleet duty officers. They don't have any, so that does nothing. Then I'm going to play her. I'm not going to discard a card to draw a cloak, but that does make me draw a card, which is the ship that I just got. Which means my third action is to deploy that ship. Like that. And it says, deploy the ship. Hold on, before I did that, this card was an attack. Her passive or reaction is after attacking my opponent, I get a crystal or a latinum. I will take that dilithium. Yay. Then playing this is also an attack, so I'm going to do the same thing again. Then deploy this ship, the Kazon Raider. There. Force your opponent to discard a card. Which they did. Then you may discard a card to gain 1 latinum. No thank you. Because then I'm going to play this card for free, and it may not be a great thing right now. But I may warp up to 3 of my ships with cloak. But there's only 1, so this didn't matter anyway. Hold on a minute. Yeah, there's no clunk in there anyway. I'm doing it anyway. This goes there because I want that planet next turn. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine. Okay, this one I'm holding on to because I want to increase military next time after I get that planet. Those go away. These all straighten back out. Do I have anything else I wanted to do? No. Do I want to warp the ship? No. Reaction. After gaining a card to the top of your deck, spend 1 Latinum to draw a card and refresh this card. Wow, that's cool. Okay, so that's me. I placed this out somewhere. I don't love any of those things. This could help me get locations, so let's do that. Yep. Then I draw back up to 6 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Shuffling that. 5 and 6 like that. My hand is, oops, hold on. Nope. Shuffling that means this, 5 and 6 this time. Cool. Ooh, and we get our directive, which means we can get even more military next time, potentially. Back to the AI's turn. Still drawing 2 cards. 1, 2. Flips the first one. Directive. Again, discard the top 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. Gain a military. Take an incident. I think I may have forgotten to do that last time, but that's fine. Send this to a neutral location. Undo everything I just did. 1, 2, 3. I'm undoing everything I just did because I realized that they do control a location. So pause. First things first, coming back over here. They do control this location. Means they get a location over here. These guys all come back. When the bot controls a location, they simply do what it says, location, log the top card of the bot deck. See, now they won't play that card. But I do think I forgot the incident last time they played directive. That's fine. Discard the top 2 cards of the bot deck. 1, 2. If a ship is in the discard pile, it is. The bot's going to gain 1 glory. Again, that comes from that Stardate card. Gaining a glory. Now they take their 2 cards. And the first card is a directive anyway. Okay, so they move up 1 more on military. Discard 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. And I just realized that I never returned that incident. So, yeah. So pause because there should be 1 more discard. That incident didn't get taken yet. Sorry. I'm rushing through and I need to slow down because now they still have a 3rd card to discard before they take that incident. So the 3rd card to discard is this one. Discard's there. That goes there. Discard. That incident goes there. And now they're going to send this guy out, replacing the location they just got rid of, but this will go there because they already have a ship there. Yes. And if I made any mistakes, you will have seen a correction in the subtitles. Sorry about the rush. Let me slow down. Next is a planet, another location. Says log the top card of the bot deck. Discard the top 2 cards of the bot deck. If a ship is there, it's not, they don't gain a glory, but that planet goes into play like that. This gets discarded. Back to the marketplace, they do take 1 of these, the lowest scoring or lowest value. That's a 0, 2, 2, 1, like that. My turn. Resupply, gain a crystal. Discard a Riemann, I don't have 1. That's it for my resupplies. I control this. My away team comes back. I'm out of space, but that's okay. I'll put it here. Delta Vega. Those 2 ships go bye-bye. To discard. Like that. This has no control effect. Next turn, I will start getting the lithium for people in my hands during resupply, but right now it does not. Deep Space K7, Starfleet, no effect. Yellow banner. which right now is not great, but I'm hoping to push that up a bunch more. Then, so far this Lurpa hasn't been doing me a whole lot of good, so I'm going to play Riva for free to draw a card. Then it says, may I log an attack card from my hand or discard pile. That is my hand. Bye-bye. To gain 1 glory. Good. Then I am going to play Conquer. Because if I play Conquer, there's another banner out here for when I play Utilize in a minute. It says, may discard a person and take an incident to send 2 people to a location, or you may dismiss a ship to gain a person, ship, or ally. So what I need to do first is, kind of want the Deep Space K7. I'm going to play this one first before I play that. To deploy this ship, you may send an away team to a location. I'm going to send it there, because then when I play this one, that goes away. And I take her to there. No, she's going to be a free play. So let's put her there. Then, I'm playing this card. I think, did she have any banners on her? No. This card to move up on a track. Now I could do 3 red or 1, 2, 3, 4 yellow. I still think I want to do 3 red. 1, 2, 3 like that. Then I'm going to play him. No, I'm going to use this planet to draw a card. I'm going to play her for free, spend 1 dilithium to gain 1 more red. If I have an android in play, gain 2 cards. I do not have any androids in play. Then I will play him, put a card on top of your deck to send an away team to a location like that. Then either log this or your opponent may draw a card. I will let my opponent draw a card. Like that. That is my turn, resetting everything. None of those were attacks, right? No. You know what? I might as well send that ship to the planet. Like that. Refresh that. Everything goes straight up. Good. These get discarded. These all reset. I need a new person here. Zephram Cochrane, engineer, human pilot. Draw 3 cards for an activation. Then I need to place out this one somewhere. Let's go there to the wormhole again. That goes away. There's nothing on it. 7 more come out, and now the AI is playing 3 per turn. Like that. Drawing back up to 6 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is my hand. AI's turn. They do not control any locations, so they are just going to play their 3 cards. 1, 2, and 3, like that. First card is a directive. Discard the top 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. Gain a military. Take an incident. Send to a neutral location. Now they are controlling that relay station for next turn. Card 2 is a ship. Klingon ship. Klingon doesn't do anything for them. Ship. Deploy this ship. It explores. All right, so we're going back to the emptiest place, which is that one. Then send an away team to a neutral location. Now, this is where things get interesting. The AI will actually send here because they want to have 1 more than needed to control. And let me double check this. Yeah, it will always send until it has more than enough, means 1 token further than it needs to control something. So normally 3 tokens and 2 more than me. In this case, 4 tokens and 3 more than me. So now it does have 4 tokens there. So on the next turn, if it does that again, it will not send anything else to that location. Finally, 3rd card is a person. Synthetic. They don't have anything synthetic here, so we're looking at person. Discard the top card of the bot deck. Then log the top card of the bot deck. There isn't one, so we're going to shuffle those up. Placing one of those on top, which will instantly get logged. Gain 1 military or influence, whichever is lower. So influence goes up once. Then gain a weapon, a weapon, then ship. So it wants to prioritize weapons. Looking at the market, there are no weapons, so it will take a ship into its discard pile. Then promote this card to duty officer. So now Peanut Hamper is his duty officer, which only means now that this flips over, and we'll follow these new rules as long as that duty officer is there. This card gets discarded, and that's the end of their turn, except that they have to refresh the market, placing this card back out. The Sona Battle Cruiser, which is attack, is shady, is great for me. They're going to place on the lowest. That's 0 and 1 is 1, 2, 4, 1. So that's 1 means they do place on Zeph from Cochrane. My turn. Resupply first. Gain a crystal. I don't have any remnants to get rid of. Next, resupply. Reveal your hand for each person, gain a crystal. I've got 3 people. Means 3 more crystals coming to me. I do control this planet. Away teams come home. This ship goes bye-bye. New planet will come out, but first this gets home. I've got no control there, but I can put a directive or a security on the top of my deck to gain an additional action. That's pretty awesome. And then a new card coming out. Barracks 3 is Influence, Shady, and Orion. I get a point for controlling it, or a glory. Log a person to gain 2 Latinum. At the end, score 1 for each Shady. I need to get that. Okay. Let's see. From my hands, first I'm playing her for free to draw a card. I don't have any cards. That's a problem. Hold on a minute. Nope. I'm playing this first to draw a card, which means these get shuffled up. And then I take one of these and draw that card. Whoops. Like that. Ooh, that's my Imperial Pride. That's the directive card that lets me start taking encounters, but I need 10 dilithium or remove these guys from 3 controlled locations. That's not happening right now, but I could start prioritizing dilithium at some point. I need to get people out there. This attack card lets me potentially start taking out people there if I send a ship there, but I don't have a ship. I don't have a ship. I discard 2 cards to get a person, cargo, or ally. No. That warps ships, but that's great. Here we go. Spend 2 dilithium to gain a ship. Yes, so I'm going to play him. Spending 2 dilithium to gain that shady ship onto my deck. Turning that over. Zindi Reptilian Battleship. Then dismiss all of your opponent's Starfleet duty officers. Peanut Hamper is not Starfleet, so that's that. I play her for free, draw a card, which is that ship. Yay. It says I can discard a card to draw a cloak from my discard pile. I don't have any, so I don't. Sona Battle Cruiser. I will place out the Sona Battle Cruiser. Steal 1 dilithium. Stealing just comes from the supply in the case of the AI because they don't have any. And then I am going to spend 1 to warp that ship here where they are. Because then I'm going to play General Movar. Hold on, that was an attack. And so was this guy. So I'm going to get 2 more crystals from her reaction. But I am playing General Movar, which is another attack, getting another crystal. Discard an attack. Oh wait, no, that's not who I'm playing. That's the wrong one. This is the one I'm playing. Discard a Romulan, so he gets discarded. If you do up to twice, remove an opponent's away team from a location where you have a ship. Right there, 1, 2. I get 2 glory from there. 1, 2, nope. Yeah, gain 1 glory from each. Good. You may junk a card from the market. And I will junk this Kelpian because I don't like her so much. The new one coming out is gonna be Arinsen, ally. Ooh, 3 military. For each Klingon you have in play, gain dilithium, platinum, discard a card to gain glory. That's cool. I've only got 6 crystals, but 10's not that far away. Hold on. Dismiss one of your opponent's duty officers. You may scan for a shady. You may draw a cargo from your discard pile. Log this card. Maybe. Or scan for Klingon, Vulcan. Yeah, I need a Klingon for this. I need more Vulcans for this. Let's do that. I don't have a thing. How do I get that thing? I just saw something. Here. Put a directive or a security on top of your deck to gain an action. And then I'm going to use that action to activate Sela's ability, discard infiltrate, and spin. No, I'm not. I don't have 3 Latinum. Well, then I might as well play the Lithians just to get them out of the way, because it will get me 1 dilithium for playing an attack. Dismiss an opponent's duty officer. So their duty officer goes away, and this flips back over. You may scan for a shady. I'm going to look in here for a shady. There we go. Admiral Pressman goes into my discard because I don't need him right away. Those get reshuffled back up again. It says you may draw a cargo. I don't need to log this card like that. Everything gets reset up. These get trashed. I don't think I need that anymore. He goes away. I place one of these out on that one because it is a Klingon. And I need some Klingons. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wow, look at all those ships. Like that. That is my turn. AI takes their turn. They do not control that planet anymore because I swooped in and attacked. So now drawing 3 cards. 1, 2, and 3. Flipping that one is a directive. Again, discard the top 3 cards. Gain a military. Take an incident. And send this to a neutral location. And we both have a ship here, so they can go there. So now they are controlling again for next turn. I don't think I'm going to keep fighting them, but we'll see. Next, a person. Discard the top card of the bot deck. Log the top card of the bot deck. Gain whichever is lower. Influence goes up. Gain a weapon. Ship. There are no weapons. They get this ship. New ship is the Enterprise C. Then he becomes duty officer, and this flips back over like that. Which means the last card is directive is different now. If able to do both, log a ship and remove an away team to take the top encounter. Then log this card and log the duty officer. All right, I'm making a guess here based on what I've seen. I hope that I'm not making a mistake, but it says if able to do both, log a ship and remove an away team. They can definitely remove an away team. The log a ship part is the part that I'm not 100% sure. I think I'm logging one of these ships, and based on something I read in the rule book that says when they dismiss a ship, they dismiss the most recently deployed ship. I'm going to say that this ship is logged. And also, while reading that, I realized that I made a mistake. Any incidents that get logged don't get logged, but actually get returned. So that will get returned. That ship gets logged, which means back on the main board, this ship goes away, and also one of these away teams is coming back. And doing that, it says take the top encounter, then log this card, meaning this card gets logged, and log the duty officer. The top card of the encounter deck is this one here. And it did say that they are taking this card, so taking means it goes there into their hand. Duty officer is gone, that flips over. That card gets discarded. This one should have been returned, so it returns. AI placing a token on the lowest value for me. Oops. 4, blue is still 0, 4, 2, so it's gonna place there, and that is the end of the AI's turn. All right, then my turn. First things first, resupply. I get a crystal. 3, 6, 8. We're getting close. I can discard a Riemann. I don't have any Riemanns. No. Then, resupply, reveal your hand for each person. I have one more crystal. That's 3, 6, that's 9. If I can attack, I can gain a crystal. I do have attacks. But I can also log an attack. Hold on, let's start by drawing a card. I don't control anything. Draw a card. Okay, so that's, but that's gonna spend crystals. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Okay. Then, I want that for sure. I'm gonna play this card. For attack, play, deploy this ship. So this ship gets deployed. I get a crystal for having attacked. Force your opponent to discard a card, which was that encounter we just gave them. I may discard a card to gain 1 latinum. Probably okay. I got lots of ships. I don't need them all. Let's discard that one because that's a blue research that I don't care about. Now I get a latinum. Because I do need 3 to use that if I ever choose to do so. Then, I'm going to play that one. Because I should have 3, 6, 9, 10. That's perfect. All of that goes away. Like that to 2. Log a controlled location. What do I not care about? This one, but that's got banners on it. Yeah, but that's 1 yellow banner, and I'd like to keep getting dilithium. Yeah, bye-bye. That gets logged. To take the top encounter card. If the log card shares no traits with your captain, hold on. Shady human Romulan, that is anomaly, it does not. So I also gain 1 influence. And I get this encounter card here, the Guardian of Forever, 3 points. Transcendent time travel, ongoing anomaly. Play, gain 1 influence and 1 research. Deploy this card. All right, let's see what happens. So that goes into my hand. I'm playing that for free to gain 1 and 1. We're still only at 4 of 4. We need 6 and 6 for this. We don't have any Klingons now. While I'm thinking about it, deploy this. Passive. Increase your hand size by 1. So now I get 7. Whenever scanning, I can include that as well. Activate, recall a non-time travel card from your staging area. You may take an incident to gain an action. Log this card. So I get to replay something once, potentially, to take an incident. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I still have 1 action left. I don't have any crystals left. I don't have any attacks to log. I can deploy a ship. And I can spend glory instead of crystals. So I'm actually going to take back 2 of the crystals of the 10 I just spent and trade in a glory instead because I want those crystals to do stuff. And I am going to play him to draw a card just to see what I get. Ooh, ally. Put a card on top of your deck to send a person to a location. Yeah, let's do that. All right, so he's going to play for free to put her back on top. Send one of those there, like that. Then I'm going to let my opponent draw a card. And then I'm going to play that as my last action, deploying the Goraxis and allowing me to send one more of those out there like that. And I am going to spend one dilithium to send that ship there like that. Yes. And I will keep that card, drawing back up now to 7 because of my Guardian of Forever. 2, 3, 4. I'm running out of space and I know that. I'm sorry if you can't see things. Those get discarded. Actually, before I did that, I should have placed this out. And I'm going to keep focusing on Aaron Sen. Shuffling up those cards. 5, 6, and 7 like that. Still haven't gotten any of my goals done. I need to focus on the next time I see a Klingon. I need to put them out on a cloak ship so I can at least get that done. And if we can do it while there's lots of cloak out, that would be good. All right, that's my turn. AI takes their turn. They do not control any planets. They are drawing 3 cards. So that's 1, shuffling up. Taking 1 from here, that's 2, and that's 3. First one is an incident. It says, gain a card with a red banner, otherwise person or ship. No red banners, person or ship. That is worth 1 plus 1 is 2. That is also 2, so they will take that person. Send this to a neutral location, which does that, puts them in charge for next time. I may draw a card. Why not? Like that. They return that incident. Next is Mara, a person, scientist, Klingon, scientist. Discard the top card of the bot deck. Gain 2 glory and 1 influence. So here's their influence. Now 2 glory, the first glory triggers that card, which is going to me for my next cleanup step. We place out 6 more, but they're going to take 1 of those. And because she got played as a scientist and not a person, she does not get promoted. Peanut Hamper is a synthetic, doesn't matter. Now this is a person. Discard the top card of the bot deck. Log the top card of the bot deck. Gain influence or military, whichever is lower will be influence. Gain a weapon, then ship. There are no weapons, so they do take this ship. Like that. Promote this card to duty officer up here. Peanut Hamper is back. That flips over. Placing out their glory in the market. This is worth 5, 2, 4, and 1. Goes there. And my turn again. All right, that should straighten out. Resupply 1 crystal. Discard a Riemann for another, no. How many people in my hand? 2 gets me 2 more crystals. Like that. I control this planet. We're running out of space big time. Means the Goraxis goes bye-bye. I control that. I gain 1 glory. And now I'm scoring points for shady cards. Yay. Can log people to gain dilithium, but I don't know if I want to do that yet. All right. New planet comes out. All right, let's do some stuff. First things first, draw a card. I've got way too many cards in my hands, but that's okay. I'm going to play her for free. Sorry, I'm trying to see what I can fit on screen. Play her for free, spend 1 crystal to gain a military up to 5. I want to take an ally. I need to dismiss a ship to do that. Maybe so. Yeah, let's play that for my first action, which is going to let me dismiss a ship. No, let's dismiss this because they already have that anyway. Dismiss that ship. To gain a person, ship, or ally, I am taking that ally. And I am going to put him on top because he is a Klingon, which means I could do that next turn. Then Yellow right now is 1, 2, 3. Red is 1, 2, 3 as well. But, hold on, this comes out first. I will deploy that ship for my second action. You may send an away team to a location. And I get that guy, Kazara. Then, this one says put a directive or a security on top of my deck. I'm going to put that directive on top of my deck. No, I don't need that ever. I'm going to put that directive on top of my deck to gain another action back. And then I will use another action to deploy this ship, the Terex, which also lets me send one of these guys. Ignoring a ship, I could go there and block them, but I really don't care because I want that planet. All right, and then I can play Infiltrate for free, warp up to 3 of my ships with Cloak. So these 2 can go out. And let's just do that and that for now. I may move them, but we'll see what happens. Ah, no, if I do that, sending that there, and spend 1 crystal activating this guy to go there as well, I block that. That was activated. I have 1 action left. I'm going to play Utilize for my last action. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 yellow or 3 red. I'm going to take 4 yellow. 1, 2, 3, 4 goes to 8 yellow. Those go away. I'm going to discard those because I don't need them right now. I place, nope, before I do that here, during the next player's step, wipe market, removing all tokens, and any neutral with no tokens. So that goes away for a new planet there. These all go away. Okay. That is attack, but it's Romulan, so I don't love it. Everything straightens back up because I haven't used anything anymore. I draw to 7 cards. Oh, sorry. This goes away, and before I do that, I got to put one of these out. 1, that's 2 for yellow. That's 2, that's 3. What's that say? Yeah, that's good. Extra actions and extra latinum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 like that. Hi. That's my turn. Back to AI drawing 3 cards. They no longer control that location because I've got 2 things. They've got 3 things, so that's that. They draw 3 cards. First card is an encounter. But hold on, Transcendent Ongoing Attack Vulcan. That's an attack before it's an encounter. Junk the most valuable card in the market, ignoring tokens. So 2, that's a 2, and that's a 1, means they're going to junk the leftmost 2. Phasers. Okay. Then, if able, return a ship from discard to the top of the bot deck. Yes, able. Like that. Otherwise, yeah, no otherwise needed. That's what they did. So I don't need to dismiss a ship. They got a ship back again. Next is an incident. Says, with the duty officer, gain 1 military strength. If able, gain a Romulan. Yes, they will take that Romulan ship. Good. That flips over another Romulan. Then return this card. Hold on. Otherwise, blah, blah, blah. Then send a thing to a neutral location, which means they're piling up there again. Now they are controlling 4 to 2, and return this incident. Last card is a ship, which is also Zindi. There's no Zindi, so ship. Gain 1, that, deploy this ship, And then it engages. So now we've got an engage instead of an explore. Engage says warp the ship to the neutral location with the most of my tokens, which unfortunately is that. So now I no longer control that. Unfortunately, right? That's 3-1. Oh no, I still do. That's still 2 over. Yay. Then send this to a neutral location. Again, it's only one. It's only just winning. That's 4-2. So that's still only 2 over. So they will place one more there. Luckily for me, that's their turn. This gets discarded. They place out a token, which goes on the cheapest one. 4, 2, 2, 1. That goes there. My turn. I am still controlling that. So he goes back. They get a glory, which will trigger the end of that card, and I will reset that in a minute. But returning their ship means this goes discard. Then all of my guys come back again. He goes away, they come home, that gets discarded. But I do get this, no effect for controlling it, but it will score me red banners at the end, and I can spend 3 crystals to free play a ship and refresh a ship. That goes there. This gets 5 pieces on it, and that will get the end of the game coming soon. This is our last card of the game. Then resupply, I get a crystal. I can get rid of this guy if I don't want to send stuff out. I think I'll do that to get 2 more of those, because I might get a card from here soon. Then, where's the other one? For each person in my hand is 3. I get 3 more of those. 1, 2, 3. That's it for resupply. What am I doing? I need to put this Klingon onto a cloak ship. I'd love to play more cloak ships, but I don't have any, because they're all in here. That's fine. All right, so I'm going to use this to discard a card to beam a person there. I'm going to discard, confiscate to beam him there. And doing that, I instantly finish this goal. Have 1 Klingon on the same ship that has cloak. Then gain 1 red for each cloak in play. I only have 1, but that puts me to 6, so that's great. Gain 2 points from the supply, or 2 glory from the supply, for each Klingon on play, which is just him. Dismiss 1 cloak, and all beamed Klingons. So he goes away, and that ship goes away, like that. Oops. And that was not an action yet. Then, I do have a ship there. So I am going to play this attack, which says discard a Romulan. If I do, remove 2 of them. They're still winning. I mean, there's still majority there, but I get 2 points for doing that. 1, 2. And I can junk a card from the market. I don't need to. That's done. Hold on a minute. Yeah. I don't need to do that. First off, I get a crystal or a latinum from that. I'm going to take a latinum, so I have it for her just in case. I could have played him to free play an attack card, so that was free. Play him to draw a card. You may log an attack from your hand or discard pile. Yeah, I'm going to log this Romulan. I don't need it right now. Whoops. Like that to gain a point. Sorry, a glory. Then play her to draw a card, which means these get shuffled and I get to choose a development card. So let's see what we've got. I've got a ship that lets me find a Romulan, destroying them, beam a card to Remus, and deploy this ship. That's tricky, but it's worth 4, and it does some pretty strong attacks. But, yeah, not right now. She scores for red, which is only 2. Draw 3 cards for each, spend a crystal or discard it. Refresh a ship. This guy here, 3 points. Opponent takes an incident. You may spend 2 latinum to scan for synthetic. You may free play the scimitar from your hand. That was the scimitar. Proconsul Neril says find any card. You may free play an incident. You may discard a Romulan to promote him to duty officer. Yeah, these aren't great. Valdor. Yeah, I think I'm going to do this. Because it is another 4 cloak. I need to spend 5. Put that there and draw it. Those go there. I have to spend 5 dilithium for that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which means I have that ship. I still haven't done anything. I can use this to draw one more card, which will let me spend that to spend 1 dilithium to move red up 1 more. If I have an android in play, I don't think so. No. But I haven't been paying attention here. I do have my yellow at 6 and 6. So I get to enlist a development and find an attack. I don't want cargo. We are late game. I think I'm just taking the scimitar because, but I can't spend 5 unless I spend a bunch of that stuff, and I don't want to do that. Red, 3 for 3. Yellow for 2 or red for 2. Draw 3 cards. Yeah, she lets me draw a bunch of cards. Let's do her because I can afford her for 2. And enlist means that goes to the top of my deck. Then, I don't have a whole lot left to do, guys. Yeah, okay. And I'm playing that. I think that's my only action this turn for real. Deploy this ship, my Valdor. You may send a thing ignoring opponent ships. Let's block them. That's my turn. Those straighten out. This is discard. I place one of these out somewhere. I want her. That's that. Drawing 7 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like that. This flips back. AI's turn. This is going to be the second to last turn because they are going to trigger the end of the game right now. They do not control anymore because I blocked them. 1, 2, 3. First card is a ship. Time travel, ambassador, Starfleet, doesn't matter. So ship. Gain 1 of these yellow guys. Deploy the ship. So they get the Enterprise C. It engages. All right, well, they're joining the fight at this place over here. And then send this to a neutral location. Let's see, they've got 4 and I've got 2, so they're up 2, so they will still send that there. Next, they've got a directive. If able to do both, log a ship and remove a person. They are. So they're going to log that Enterprise, assuming I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, and I did it before, so I'm doing it again. And return one of their people to take the top encounter card again, which is this guy right here, which is only going to score them red banner, which is not crazy, I guess. Then log this card and log their duty officer like that. And this flips back over. Incident says gain a red bannered card. There isn't one. Person or ship. Person is 2. Ship is yellow, which is also 2. They'll take the leftmost one, which is that person getting that glory. Then send this to a neutral location. They are at 4 to 2, so they are winning if it stays that way. This returns back. That's their turn. But they will place out this last one, triggering the end of the game, again on the lowest scoring one, which is 5. Yellow banner is 2 for me now. This is 2, and red banner is 2 as well. So leftmost 2 is that one right there. End of the game is triggered. I went first means this is my last turn. The AI will get one last turn after me. Then, from here I gain a crystal. I may discard this guy to gain 2 crystals. Do I want 2 crystals? I don't think I'm getting through all of this to get here. Although I might. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2 more. I don't think so. But if I use him, I can send these guys out for a point. I'd rather have a point than crystals, so I don't do that. But in my hand, I have one person, so I get one more of those. All right, then I might as well activate that to draw a card. A ship. I do want to boost this, and I don't remember if I have more reds or yellows here. But out here, I've got 1, 2, 3 red, and 1, 2, 3 yellow. I can get 2 more red, or 1 more yellow. All right, whoops, that's discard. Get that out of here. All right, so I'm gonna play this first. No, I'm not. Play her. Draw 3 cards for each one, spend a dilithium or discard it. And refresh a ship. I don't care about refresh the ship. So we're gonna draw 1, I don't need it. 2, I don't think I need it. 3, yeah, I definitely don't need it. Okay. If I play this, I can warp a ship for free. I don't really care, but I get 1 point for everything that's out there, so I might as well send all my stuff out. Actually, if we send all out there, he can't take that planet. Yay. Then, play this one, put a card at the top of my deck, sure. To send a person to a location, sure. Then log this card because that's my turn and I don't want to draw any more cards. Play this guy. I am at more than 3 level red. For each Klingon I have in play, which is just him, unfortunately, I can gain 2 crystals, gain a latinum, or discard a card to gain a point and log this card. Oh, I didn't have that card that lets me boost things. Ah, that's annoying. Yeah, that's a shame. Scan for Klingon, Vulcan, or Starfleet. No. But he's a shady Klingon. That's Conquer. Yeah, okay, then great. So then I'm going to discard this one to gain a point. And he's done. Then, let's start playing some real cards, I guess. Deploy the battle cruiser. Steal a crystal. Hold on. No. I don't need the 2 crystals. That's enough. Then I will spend 1 to deploy them out. Then, this gets me 3 points, 4 points. 5 points. This also gets me 5 points. So it doesn't matter. Yeah, this was stupid. Yeah, no, I didn't do that for what I said I did. I said I played it, I didn't play it. Means I just had to spend 1 more crystal to send that there. That's all that I did with that. Because I can play that with her action instead. Spending 3 of those to scan for Klingon, Vulcan, or Starfleet and take that Klingon. Because doing that, then I can play this one as itself. Dismiss a ship, sure. To gain this ally, which is another 5 points. And that is the end of my game. AI gets 1 final turn, but before that I do still have to put out 1 thing out there. Let's put it on her. I have 3 things there. They have 4 things. They don't control that. AI takes their final turn with 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. Augment anomaly, no encounter. Gain a person or ally. Looking at the market, that's 3, that's 2. They will take that ally. Putting out a new one. Send a person to a neutral location, piling up where they already are. That gets logged. Next, ship, Starfleet, doesn't matter, ship. Deploy this ship. The USS Reliant. It explores, means it goes there. Send a person to a neutral location. I've got 3. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's only +2, so they need one more there to be more than. Then their last card of the game is a directive. Discard the top 3 cards of the bot deck. Means here, 1, 2, 3. Gain 1 military. Take an incident. Send a person to a neutral location. Now they don't need to do that anymore. They're going to go there instead. That is the end of the game. And now we move into scoring. I'm going to go ahead and score myself first, just to give myself a baseline of what I had. So we start first with glory tokens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 15. Nope, that's 6. 5 for 15, and 3 more is 18 points. Then we score each of the away teams or ship tokens at neutral locations. I get 1 point. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. My endgame scoring conditions on cards, I'm going to get 1 for each attack card that's not Romulan or Reman, and 1 for each shady card. I'm going to check those in just a second. So let's go ahead and put all the cards away. These are not my cards. Everything else out here is mine. So again, I'm scoring 1 for attacks that are not Romulan or Reman, and 1 point for every shady card. So we'll start with that. Looking through everything I had. That's 1 for shady. 1 for attack Romulan, no. Attack and shady, 2, 3. 4. No, because that's Romulan. No, because that's Reman. 5, 6, 7. 8, 9, 10, 11. 12. That's Romulan. So that's 12 points for those. And now I did complete a mission. So first off, we'll get the 5 points for the 2 missions I completed. Plus, I'm going to score all of the cards' values as printed in the bottom corner. Because I did complete these, I will get the points for the different colored banners. My blue is still worth nothing. Yellow and red are both 2. So that's 5 plus 2 plus 2. Nothing, 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 nothing. 4 and 2 is 6. Nothing, nothing, nothing. 2. Another 2 and 3 and 2 is 5 is 7 and 3. Hold on, I'm slow down. 2 and 3 is 5 and 2 is 7 and 3 is 10. Nothing. 3, 5, 6, 7. 2, 3. 2, 4. Nothing, 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 nothing. I already included my missions, which gives me a total score, if I added everything up correctly, of 80 points. Now coming over to the AI's deck. The AI is going to score mostly the same as we do, with some small twists. So first they're going to score their glory tokens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, plus away teams or ships at neutral locations, which coming back over to the main board is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, that's all 5 of their away teams. 1, 2, 3, no, all 6 of their away teams plus 2 ships is 8 points. Then endgame for them, they're actually going to look at every endgame on any card that they've got, not only ones in their display. And the AI is going to just score a flat 5 points for any endgame scoring. Otherwise, they are going to score all of their cards the same way that I did, regardless of missions because there are goals, because the AI can never complete any goals or missions. So we're going to score all of these cards. Again, getting 5 points for each of the endgame scoring. And they're going to score 1 for blue, 2 for yellow, and 3 for red. So that is 3, 6, 7. Double checking that none of those had endgame. No endgame. That's a 1 plus nothing, plus nothing, plus nothing, plus nothing, plus nothing, plus nothing. Nothing, wow, nothing, nothing. 1 minus 2. Plus 3. There's a special here. Special says when you log this card, warp all of your blah, blah, blahs. There's no asterisk. This doesn't score anything. That doesn't mean anything to them. Nothing, 2. Nothing, 2. 7. Red again is 3. Plus 1 plus 3 is 4. Plus nothing minus 2. Let me double check all of those. I didn't see any endgames for them. No, 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 no. All right, I think that is it for the AI. I already scored everything that they got. They scored very poorly this game. I won 80-41 on Lieutenant Bot level. Now, of course, there may be mistakes that I've made along the way. I will absolutely have already put subtitles in as I was editing. If there were any mistakes, I apologize ahead of time. But now, because we are playing the 5-year mission, I get to continue upgrading my deck. So, looking at the AI card here for Koloth, we're going to flip it over, and it says, because I win, I can reinforce common card types that are ships. So I can choose any ship that I bought at the market to keep in my deck or in my reinforced deck, or I can boost gaining 3 military or 2 points. And that means forever at the start of every game going forward. I don't really need the ships because I got lots of ships. So I'm actually going to take the boost gain 3 military. So from now on, every game in this campaign, I will start at 3 military level on my track. And that's basically it. There's no reason for me to take a look at components because I did that in my previous video. You've kind of seen everything out here anyway. I do love the way this game looks. I do love the way that this game interacts. All of the iconography is great. But that's basically it. I hope that this playthrough sort of helps you get an idea of how the bot mode works. Now meet me back up top and I'll let you know what I think about the game itself.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the playthrough. This one's going to be an interesting one for me to talk about for a couple of reasons. First, it's a very big game. Second, it's sort of a re-implementation of a game that's already out there in several variations. Plus, this game is a game now that I've played, aside from like big campaign games that I play through a set number of games before I talk about them on camera. This is a game that I've played sort of more times than pretty much any game I've covered on this channel, just because of how much stuff there is in the box, how many different sort of permutations of things you can do, the several different versions of solo modes in the box, all of the different captains you can try, and there's just so much in there, and I've played this many times, but also over a fairly long period of time. So there's a lot to talk about, but there's probably lots of little details that I'm not going to remember along the way. But let me sort of do my best to get into everything and talk about everything about this game. But first off, just putting this out there, if you watch my top videos of 2024 or top games of 2024 video, you will have seen that this was an honorable mention for me in that video. So already you know that I really enjoyed this game, number one. And I just told you that I've played this game more than pretty much any other game that I've covered on this channel before covering it on this channel, which should also tell you that I really enjoyed playing this game quite a bit. So that's that. I really, really enjoy this. Now, before I get to anything about specifically this game, I'm sure many of you want to know right up front, does this replace Imperium? Is this just Imperium Star Trek version? Is it better than Imperium, worse than Imperium, different than Imperium? Well, I'm going to say this. I only played Imperium a handful of times, and it was a very, very, very long time ago, so I can't really compare too much specifically, but I want to get this little bit out of the way so then I can focus specifically on this game. But a couple of things. I definitely prefer this much more than Imperium. I enjoyed Imperium quite a bit, but it sort of was something I played a couple of times and kind of fell out of and never really got back to. I still have it on my shelf. I might pull it back out now that I've played this a bunch of times, but a couple of things. This one plays quicker for me. It may just be because I've played it enough times now that I'm really comfortable with the game and I understand the flow of the game, but I can play this game in generally an hour to an hour and a half. More the hour if I'm playing botless and more the hour and a half if I'm playing with the AI mode. But it's a fairly, not short game, but a fairly decently long game. The other game, Imperium, always felt like it went a little bit too long for me. Another thing is this one feels more focused to me. They've added in some new mechanisms, which I'll talk about in my sort of big overview, but it feels more like I know what I'm supposed to be doing. It feels more focused for each of the captains, but not just for each of the captains, but for each of the things that do the things they do, right? People do people things. People become your duty officer. Ships go to planets and take over or control those locations. The cargo are usually things that allow you to do special abilities. The allies are ones that sort of break the rules in special ways to help you out in some kind of way. Each sort of category feels like it does the thing that it's supposed to do thematically in this game. And this is coming from somebody who knows about Star Trek and understands the world of Star Trek, but really hasn't watched a whole lot of Star Trek. Although I have started going back to watch some of the stuff now that I've been inspired by this game. But the point is just this idea of sort of a captain of a starship doing stuff in space fits the sort of the flow of the mechanisms in this game, whereas in Imperium, and this may be because I'm not a scholar of history and don't really understand the different groups that are in that game, it sort of never really felt as focused as I hoped it would, or at least it felt like I needed to play a game a lot more than I did to really pick up on that focus, and this was a lot more clear here. Also, the other big thing in Imperium that lots of people complained about is the endgame scoring, where you got to sort of separate the cards into all different kinds of things and count all different kinds of scores and points and so on. This one is a whole lot easier to score. You're scoring basically points that you've earned through the game, any stuff that's left on planets at the end of the game, any sort of endgame scoring conditions that are on cards in your tableau or your display at the end of the game. And then otherwise, you're just putting all of the cards together and going through all of the cards you've collected through the game, scoring whatever it shows in the bottom corner of that card. Very straightforward, very simple, and fairly quick to get through scoring at the end of the game. So basically for all of that, I strongly prefer this to Imperium. That said, as I mentioned, it's been a very long time since I've played Imperium, so I can't give it a fair comparison. And I also do kind of want to go back and try Imperium now that the rules have been fixed up a little bit in the most recent version of it, and also now that I've played this a bunch and kind of understand the sort of card play and the flow of this kind of game better. With that said, let's go ahead and get back into more specifically this game, Star Trek Captain's Chair, because I do really, really enjoy this game. So at its core, this game, at least as it says on the box, is a deck building game. You start with a small set of cards, and as you play through the game, you're building out that deck of cards, getting rid of cards from your hand that you don't really need, adding in cards to sort of fine-tune your deck to make it do something. And what you're doing is going to be very different depending on which captain you're playing as. Now, as I mentioned, I have played this a bunch of times. I've played with each of the captains several times over, but it's also been a while since I've played some of them, so I don't remember specifically well exactly what each of the captains do, but it's very worth pointing out that they are quite a bit different. For example, Picard is all about collecting allies. Some of people like Shran and Koloth are more about going to planets and fighting your opponents. Sisko is kind of special because his starting ship can't go to planets. So his thing is sort of gathering as many ships as he can and then trying to get out to as many locations, controlling as many locations as possible. Sela, which you saw in my video, is very unique because her deck is kind of flipped. Rather than starting with all of these sort of starting development kind of cards, she starts with a huge fleet of ships and not so much development stuff. So you're out in the beginning of the game getting lots of locations so that when her deck develops into the ability to level up and become more powerful, she's already amassed a bunch of stuff from sort of the board in the middle, sort of in the earlier parts of the game. So she's kind of flipping the flow of the game on its head a little bit. And then Michael Burnham is a weird one because she starts off with one of the main resources in the game, dilithium, basically being useless to her. Any dilithium you're gaining throughout the game, and this doesn't mean stealing from other people or getting from the market, but any cards that gain you dilithium, all of those crystals get put onto a card and you can't touch any of that because it's sort of dead dilithium. And the only way you're going to get that is some of the cards will tell you to draw dilithium from that into your supply, or somewhere along the line in the game, you're going to log that card, and from that point, dilithium becomes a normal sort of resource for her. So that twists things up even more. So already the variety in the captains makes things very interesting, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Back to the core mechanism here. I say it's a deck building game, and that's definitely true because you are starting with a deck, you are playing through that deck, gaining cards, losing cards, sort of, again, most efficiently sort of fine-tuning that deck to get it to do what you want it to do. But the way that it's done in this game is quite a bit different than a lot of the deck builders that I've played, because generally in deck builders, you're kind of playing cards to get points to spend to buy other cards. But that doesn't really work that way in this game. And the way that this game plays out is different kinds of cards. There are 4 main types of cards: people, cargo, ships, and allies in the market. And different cards will allow you to take different of those cards. And some of them will let you just take the card that's available in the market, and some of them will let you sort of dig through, the card that's available or the top card that's next to come out. And some of them will let you dig through those decks looking for specific tags on those cards to sort of more specifically refine the cards to do the things that your character wants them to do. And this is interesting because it's not as easy to get cards as it is in most deck building games, because I can't just spend points to buy a card. I have to have the specific card that allows me to get the specific type of card that I want to add to my hand. And then when I add it to my hand, it either goes into my discard pile or on top of my sort of upcoming deck pile, which allows me to sort of refine whether I want that card to come out next or come out at some point in the future if it's not that important at that moment. So it adds a little bit more to what you need to do to add cards to your deck, and what it means is you're not sort of furiously growing this giant deck. And that's going to be important because the other way you add cards to your deck are your own sort of personal supply of special cards. And those are reserve and I think development is the name of the other cards. And there are 2 different sets, reserve and development. The reserve cards are sort of going to come out one by one into your deck every time you cycle through your full deck. So if you manage to keep a smaller, fine-tuned deck, you'll be getting more and more and more of those reserve cards automatically added in, and those are going to be quite a bit more powerful than the cards you start with, or at least will sort of vary the things that you're capable of doing with the cards that you have in your deck. And because those are your character's specific cards, they're going to be more specifically directed towards the kinds of things that character should be doing to do well in the game. And that's pretty cool. But then you've got the development cards, and those are going to be even more powerful, and those will start cycling into your deck after you've gone through all of the reserve cards, or if you have specific triggers that might allow you to get one of them early. But those you can't just take. Those you need to make sure you have enough resources, or you've sort of fulfilled some kind of specific condition with the other things in your deck in order to add those into your deck. So there are sort of 2 main ways to power up your deck, and that is getting cards from the market and getting cards from this sort of cycling of your deck. And for that reason, it's not always a good idea to get things from the market if you don't really need them, because it's going to sort of bloat out your deck and you'll get less of that cycling happening and less stuff adding into your deck. And this balance is a really interesting one. And to sort of help with this balance, there's also the idea of sort of culling cards in unique and different ways. A lot of deck building games offer this idea of culling, where cards that you don't want, you play a card that lets you get rid of a card from the game. Well, in this case, you don't necessarily want to get rid of a card from the game because they tend to score you points at the end of the game. So instead, you've got two other options where you can log cards and you can beam cards to locations or to ships, basically. Logging cards are going to hide them forever behind your captain card, and that basically removes it from the game but still includes it in the final score. Whereas beaming cards to a ship or beaming cards to a planet might do one of two things. Number one, it may give you some kind of special ability or some kind of special points or fulfill some kind of mission or goal, because each captain has unique missions and goals that they need to achieve before the end of the game to score points and to unlock a specific set of scoring, which I'll talk about in just a second. But also beaming cards to the planet gets them out of your hand, so you're churning through your deck faster. And a lot of those things that allow you to beam things too will then allow those cards to come back later. If I beam a card to a ship, the next time that ship comes back from duty, all of the cards that were beamed to it come back to my hand. Likewise, if I beam a card to a planet, many of those cards have abilities that if I sort of unbeam a card, something happens. Or I can pay some resources to unbeam a card. So I can sort of temporarily remove cards from my hand so I can churn through my deck faster when I don't need that card. And then when the time comes again that I do need that card, I can pull it back into my hand and use it as I need to use it to do whatever I need to do with that card. So it's a really cool idea that you can temporarily cull cards from your hand, as well as permanently cull cards from your hand. But ultimately, those cards then also count for final scoring at the end of the game. Really makes for an interesting piece. Another part of this game that is really cool, that was not in the Imperium game, that I really enjoy here, is a sort of area majority, area control piece with the planet cards. So a big part of this game is collecting ships into your armada and sending them out to planets, exploring or even fighting off your enemies. And when you go to a planet, you're you're warping your ships there or sending away teams there. And then at the start of your personal turn, if you have enough sort of units at a location, and then also enough more units than whoever else happens to be at that location, you control that location. And by controlling locations, that location comes to your personal area, generally gives you some kind of ability when you get it, and then often gives you some kind of ongoing usable ability from every turn that point forward, which could either be some kind of special resource or card draw or something at the start of every turn, could be some activation that gives you some kind of extra action or extra ability on your turn, or could be some special endgame scoring condition that scores a bunch of points based on some kind of card that you're collecting or some kind of other condition that you fulfilled throughout the game. So this head-to-head fight with your opponents is something that adds more connection with the other opponents in this game, and that includes in the solo AI mode as well. Because it really feels fun to sort of go after a planet that you need for something specific, but then also to see your opponent going for a planet and you send enough stuff there to mess with them so they can't control that location. Or for some of the captains that are more attacky, you can send something there and attack your opponents and score points for having removed them from the planet. So it really does add this head-to-head feel, and it does add to part of the reason why I enjoy the solo AI mode a little bit more than I do the botless mode, but I'll talk more about that later as I move on. But this area controlled locations, building up locations idea is something that I really, really do enjoy in this game. And now something else that does carry over from Imperium is the idea that there are these negative cards. Here they're called incident cards. And if you build up enough of them, if all of them are in all of the players' decks, the game instantly ends at that point. And in a normal multiplayer game, whoever has fewer of them will be the winner. But in the solo mode, it adds even more stress, because if all of them come out in a game, it instantly ends and the player instantly loses the game. So you need to make sure that when they're coming into your hand, not only do they count as -2 points at the end of the game, you have to make sure that you're returning enough of them back to the supply so that they never run out. And actually, in my most recent play of this, not the one you saw, but I just played this morning before recording this video, I was playing Sela in my campaign again, this time against Michael Burnham, and she was taking incident after incident after incident, and I was really starting to get worried that that was coming down, and I was really needing to get rid of every incident card that I got. So that felt different and felt new for this particular playthrough, so it does really matter sometimes, those incident cards filling up decks pretty quickly. So all of this together really makes for an interesting card experience that, while yes, it is a deck builder, yes, I'm trying to sort of turn my deck into the most efficient, focused deck, getting the things done that I want to get done. But it doesn't feel like it's all about buying cards and culling cards, because it really is also about clever play of cards and clever sort of tableau engine building of which locations give me abilities that get me more cards or get me more resources that I need to do specific things or push me up on tracks. So there are 3 tracks on your player board. And those 3 tracks are red, green, or red, yellow, and blue. They have names that are thematically important, but otherwise they're basically 3 tracks. And I say just 3 tracks, but they do thematically tie into specific cards. Attacking is using red as the military. Influence is doing more diplomatic kind of stuff. The blue research track is focused on specific cards that tie in with that theme as well. But the point is, some of the cards are driving up these tracks. And these tracks are cool in 2 different ways, because some of the cards will have abilities that can only be triggered if you're at a certain level on those tracks. But more interestingly, they also add into scoring. Not each, but several of the cards, more than several, many of the cards have a little tag at the bottom, a banner at the bottom, matching those 3 colored tracks. And the point value of those cards is going to be determined by how far you've pushed up that matching colored track. Which is cool, because that means if I'm collecting lots of red cards, if I push up the red track, I'm going to score a lot. But if I'm collecting lots of red cards, I don't really care to push up the yellow track unless I have yellow cards that need me to score, or sort of cards that trigger abilities off of the yellow track. So it allows me to focus my attention on a very specific thing and then focus the scoring such that I score lots of points on the thing that I've been focusing on strategically in my gameplay as well, which is really cool. But then on top of that, I don't score any of those points unless I manage to complete one of my missions for my captain, which thematically pulls me back into paying attention to who my captain is, what my captain's sort of abilities are, what my captain's specialties are, what their focus is, and making sure that I sort of play that character thematically well in order to score all of the points that I can. So it's sort of forcing me, even if I don't know what Star Trek is, even if I don't know who these people are, it's forcing me to play them in the way that they should be played based on who they are and the things that they normally do. And that feels really, really cool, because it's not just cards at that point. It's making me think about what I'm doing sort of thematically as I'm playing each of these cards. And it feels really, really nice to do this. And I know I keep saying I like this game, I like this game, I like this game. I'm honestly quite surprised just how much I've sort of fallen into this game and how much I just keep wanting to get it back to the table. I'm excited now to play the 5th. I've played the first 4 games of the campaign, and I'm very excited to try my 5th game on a harder difficulty level to see where I'm going to get, see if I can continue my winning streak. I'm having a blast with this game. So let me talk a couple more things. Let me just quickly recombine my thoughts on the scoring, because the scoring in this game is very interesting. You're scoring based on the sort of glory tokens, the score points you're getting throughout the game, because there are lots of cards that score you points for doing things, which I should point out is very interesting, because the glory tokens are sort of the timer of the game. So if you're playing lots of cards that get you sort of in-game points, you're actually aggressively pushing the timer of the game faster and shortening the length of the game. Because every time you pull off enough glory tokens from one of those stardate cards, it goes away and you start sort of the next round of the game. And every couple of rounds it wipes the market, it wipes any planets that don't have any pieces on it, and it really does drive the sort of rhythm of the game. So if you're playing a sort of long game, trying to build a deck that's going to score a lot of points at the end of the game, it's going to stretch the length of the game quite a bit. But if you're playing a points-heavy game where you're playing lots of cards that are constantly pulling in little points, little points, little points, you're going to quickly shrink the length of the game. And it's really cool to see how the dynamic of this rhythm and this game length really does change depending on the style of game you're playing, the different captains you're playing, and so on. But then more scoring happens from anybody who's left on planets, which is nice to see because that means if the timer runs out before you are able to control a location, you don't lose points for that. And then you're scoring, as I said, for all of the cards you got based on the point value of each of the cards, but then also the banners on the cards based on those tracks. And then also for the missions if you're playing on the advanced side, which I always will do now because it's fun to have 3 missions and to score extra points for getting those missions accomplished. But just everything about this game ties together in a very nice package. It sounds quite heavy, but honestly, once you've played through 2 or 3 times, it really does make sense. And I said I'm done comparing to Imperium, but this is another thing that this does better than Imperium. Imperium and this one have a whole lot of sort of keywords on cards. If this word says something, check the book, it says, if you see engage, do this. If you see explore, do this. If you see beam, do this. If you see gain, if you see take, if you say, there's lots of these different words. But because the theme is so strong in this one, and again, it might be an Imperium if I knew more about history, but because the theme is so strong in this one, the vocabulary makes more sense to me. And for some reason, whatever reason, those keywords stuck in my head a whole lot faster. So despite the game seeming somewhat heavy to begin with, after 2 or 3 plays, it's just super smooth and it plays really, really nicely. And I just keep enjoying my plays with this game. So talking about the solo, there are sort of 2.5 solo modes in this game. There is the botless solo, which is a whole lot of fun. And it does really let you sort of dig into a specific captain and see how they play and sort of test them and try them. And I'll definitely use it for every new captain should expansions come out in the future to see how they work, as it does really play nicely and it plays more condensed and in shorter time. But the problem with that mode is it removes all of sort of the attacky and all of the area control and all of that piece from the game, which I think is a very fun component of the game. So I would definitely always prefer to play the AI version of the game. So let's talk about the AI then. The AI in this game, I remember in the previous game, all of the AI instructions were in the book and you had to kind of keep referring back and forth every time you turned over a card. In this game, every captain has 2 cards. One card gives you a list of traits that you're looking for on cards, and the other is a list of suits that you're looking for on cards if those traits aren't there. And that suits card is double-sided, depending on whether the opponent has a duty officer or does not have a duty officer. But otherwise, it runs super, super smoothly. You flip over a card, you check the list, and you see, this tag is there, I do this. Flip over another card. None of those traits are there. Here is one of the suits. Okay, I do this. And it plays super quickly, super smoothly, but it really does feel like the opponent is interacting with you in different ways. And it really does feel different depending on the captain that you're playing against. And I appreciate that because if it felt the same against the AI, regardless of who they were playing with, it would kind of diminish the solo game in comparison to the multiplayer game. And I still think you feel quite a bit of the flair of each of the different captains and the different sort of play styles, depending on the different sort of decision trees or AI cards for each of the different opponents. And I really do appreciate that here. It's super easy to run, super easy to score, very fluid, very quick to run. I'm a big fan of the solo AI in this. Now, if there were any complaints, I did mention I played this a ton of times now. I have yet to lose to the AI. And that is mostly because I've been playing in the lower level difficulty levels. Now that I've been playing through the campaign, I've played all of the difficulty levels except the most difficult. And just now, this last play, I played it against the captain level, which is the sort of second to highest level in the game. And I won the game 62-60, which is the closest score I've ever seen so far in my plays. And it just means to me that probably I've been playing at a lower level. I've played enough games that I understand the way that this plays. And realistically, I should just be pushing myself to play the higher difficulties. So I don't want to say that this game is too easy, because now that I'm playing at a higher level, it seems to be matching my skill, and Captain may be where I find myself most happy. And if I go up to the Admiral level, maybe now I'll start getting really punished, and I'm really going to have to learn how to play the game better. So realistically, instead of saying that this game is too easy, what I think I should say instead is that this game offers a nice wide range of difficulty for sort of newer players and more accomplished players to sort of easily pick the level of difficulty that best matches their play style. Also, I haven't tried any of it yet, but the campaign also has a page of a bunch of different sort of thematic tweaks you can make to the rules to add more challenge and add more difficulty to the game. So if it gets to the point where I can defeat any AI difficulty level, then I also have the ability to add in even more difficulty to it. So that's exciting to see in there as well. That said, the campaign is also a ton of fun. It doesn't really change up the game so much, except that the difficulty continues to increase just a little bit every time you play the game. Plus, you get some kind of extra sort of perk or benefit depending on how well you did on the game before. So if you win the game, you get to choose from one of these benefits. If you lose the game, you get to choose from one of these things. And it's constantly sort of making you feel a little bit better and a little bit stronger at the beginning of every game to sort of match up with the slightly increased difficulty every time you play through. So this is the kind of thing that if you don't mind playing with the same captain multiple times in a row, I think the campaign is probably the best way to play this game. That said, now that I've played with the same captain 4 times in a row, I am starting to feel like I want to try one game with somebody else before I come back to this captain. So you have to understand that the campaign is kind of repeat the same captain, but you do learn new strategies. You do learn different ways to use that captain, and most captains have multiple sort of paths you can take to do well with them. So it lets you sort of test and try out all of those different kinds of tweaks and different things you can try with each captain as well, which is another fun thing to do with in a game like this. So what can I say? I don't have any real negatives to say about this game. I'm really enjoying it. It's kind of surprised me how much I'm enjoying this game. And yeah, this is a big recommend for me if you like a sort of chunkier, strategic deck builder, thematic deck builder. If you're a fan of Star Trek, even better. I'm having a blast with this. I'm not sure what else I can say. So all I'm going to say is I hope that this video was helpful for you. As always, if you did enjoy it, please remember to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon below. And I'll see you all next time. Thanks.